we can change it still.
$15 total.
$15 total. It is a neutral tax rate. We're just getting the same amount of money this year that we got last year from the tax base. That's all we're doing. Now, there was a reduction in the tax base, and that's why we had to go up a few hundreds or thousands on the rate. But it's effectively a tax neutral, it's a revenue neutral tax rate. We're gonna make $15 more total taxes on property this year than what we made last year.
Okay.
Does that help? No, it's not $15 per hundred or anything like that.
$15.
It's $15, period. That's based on a 98%.
Right, but we do need to, and Ron, you did explain this better, I think, last meeting. Our taxes are gonna be increased. They are. But as far as, because of the condition of our economy and our tax base has retracted, it's hard to wrap my head around it too, because I don't like tax increases either. That's rude. But in order for us